I've always felt different. I've always seen things, but when I tried to express them as a child, I was always told to ignore it.
There were people that I didn't know that came to me and said, I have this message that I keep getting that I have to deliver to you.
All of a sudden, out of the shadows, a homeless man just jumped right in front of me. And he said, I'm a soul just like you.
I love it. I wanted to understand the universe and who and what we are and what are we doing here.
We're all part of this amazing soul wave tapping into each other.
This was a major life changer.
You are a light. You have helped me a ton. Thank you.
You've given me the courage to live more from my soul.
Millions of people are awakening. So wake up with Michele Meiche. Be pleased to hear the best-selling authors and experts in the fields of cutting-edge self-help, personal growth, metaphysics, and spirituality. The soul path of awakening. Understand what living awake is.
Oh, yeah. Hello. Understand what living awake is. Oh, my God. So important right now. How many of you are feeling the energy shift? Well, we're going to be diving into that. Give a little info on the guides and get to readings. Hello, everyone in the chat. Let me know how the sound is, please. And I was a little late tuning in or turning on from here because I had other stuff that I'm juggling right now. Call-in number, 347-539-5122, 347-539-5122. Now, here's the important part. It's really important. Are you listening? Are you listening? If you want to call in for a reading, then you need to press 1 on your keypad. 347-539-5122 is the number. That gets you listening. But if you want to call in and get a reading, then you need to press 1 on your keypad. Got a great guest. I'm kind of curious because I don't know if this is someone that I referred through my perusing on YouTube or if it's somebody that reached out to us, because we get a lot of people that reach out to us, which Sadie balances so well. And we're going to be talking about human design later, so looking forward to that. Human design guide. You know, I love all things. I've studied human design a little bit, don't know a lot about it. It's different than astrology, but it integrates astrology and the I Ching, which I've studied for about 20 years. Well, actually more, 25. So I'm really excited to have her on. So guys, stick around. You can find her on Instagram or HeidiHazen.com, Hazen. So stick around for that. And if you have questions, maybe she'll even answer questions. I'll be answering questions. Again, number 310. I'm about to give her number. I just spaced because I said, hey, Lenny. I saw Lenny in the chat. Howdy in the chat. Sound okay? Glad you're here, Jackie. You don't usually able to make it live. But glad to have you here. Glad to have all of you here that are here in person and that are here. That's my little bell. And those of you that are listening later from the archives, it's really great to have you all here. It really is. You really are all helping to co-create this. Anyway, and you might even hear to my voice, I've been very spacey, well, extended or expanded. I don't know if I'd say spacey. Ambivalent, out of the old leaving, this new aspects of the soul coming through. And, so I've been getting some new information, insights, and guidance for next level of soul alignment, working more with energetic frequencies, vibration, light, and sound, and tone, and key codes coming back. So we did a session and offering, I think it was last week of the new moon, the 21st, and I got a lot of great feedback. Thank you those that emailed me about that. I'm going to be sending an email out with some additional information and just to check in with everyone. So it's interesting. It's about bypassing the mental constructs right now and using the energy to unblock the mental constructs, and releasing, really reconfiguring what is in our cellular memory, our somatic experience, which means what stays lodged in the body. The body is a huge receptacle. It's not only a vehicle and a vessel, it is a huge receptacle for our experiences. Lynn was there. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you. We've dialed in the sound, too. Got in that better because I didn't bring one little doodad, which made quite of a difference. But anyway, when you listen with headphones, headset, and the most important thing is not so much the sound, it's the vibration from the sound. We hear sound, and we hear it as pleasing and relaxing. And so that's like with hypnotherapy. You know, we have music, or I'll say certain words that distracts the beta consciousness, that distracts the left side of the brain, left hemisphere, the lower mind, what we call the conscious mind. That isn't so conscious, but it's conscious because it's tangible, right? So we always need to distract that aspect or part of us, or give it something to do while we do the decoding, re-encoding, clearing work, because that part will block. It will literally block that. Okay, you heard a little mute because I had to take a swig of my water. So we're going to be doing, there's 2 more sessions of that. Some of you have emailed, yes, Soul-Centered Living is coming back, Synergy, Tarot, Dream, all of the main courses that I was doing are coming back, some in a bit slightly different way. You know, it's always different when I do something. I don't do the same thing. But I'm also coming back with an online version of Soul-Centered Living. But right now, due to what's happening energetically on the planet, you know, call in. Let me know. And in the chat, let me know. Are you feeling this? There is a different energetic patterning that is happening right now. And we have to, you know, I say we have to learn how to go with it. Lynn, oh wow, I connected with my soul like never before. I was submerged in the light of my soul, oh my God, then became it. And then I got, when you are in it, you will become it. Yes, yes. Your sound healing Saturday was amazing. Thank you, Jackie. Yes, and, you know, I have to, it's funny, Josie, who works with me, sometimes, you know, one time I was complaining all the stuff I was having to go through, and she's like, well, you have to go through it too. How can you teach it if you don't go through it? I'm like, yeah, I guess so. I can tell you you can just feel like, it's almost like you guys know when you see on TV or where screens, or maybe some of you have seen it in person, but, you know, when the rockets go, when they go into space, there's one that dislodges. That apparently is what is happening to many of us right now. There are whole stories and pieces from many lifetimes, other dimensions, that are just dislodging. We're dislodging from the old story where we have to create new stories. And you can even see it, how even history is being rewritten and reinvented. Now, some of this does have, yes, a lower vibrational aspect by those that would like to control the narrative in maybe a non-life enhancing way, or a way that it still has the power over structure, you know, the master-slave mentality, what we call the dominator culture, invader-dominator group and cells. We even have invader-dominator cells within us. It's almost like the immune system that has gone wacky and turns against itself. And that's kind of like what some of these beings are. They're part of us, but they're the part that's turned against or is not connected to the soul. Now, that'll get taken care of, and we will do it in a way of creating something new and stepping out of that old model, that old system, and using our energies, transmuting our energies and using them in a life-affirming, life-enhancing way. And that also means in a way that source energies wants to go towards. You know, there's always a resistant part within the subconscious that holds on. That's just kind of right now how we're wired on the human level, but that is changing. That is shifting. So definitely excited about this. I can definitely feel it's a very, very different way of living and being, and I know some of you have emailed me about this, or some of you that work personally with me have already said, oh, my God, you're explaining what's been happening to me. Many people I'm working with now are becoming much more not only intuitive and psychic, but telepathic. You know, I had a situation the other day with a client of mine, and I was in a hypnotherapy session, and it went over a bit, and then I like to clear my energy in between sessions, and especially sometimes they're psychic, sometimes they're hypnotherapy or astrology. You know, there's just different parts of me that's coming through or opening the vessel, right? Opening my vessel to be a vehicle for guidance or healing or whatever that person is needing. And I thought, I just need 5 minutes. I just need 5 minutes. And I emailed her, I just need 5 minutes, and I thought that. And then I think she had called, and then she waited, and I thought, oh, she must have got my email. And then when we got on the line, I said, oh, I'm glad you got my email. She goes, oh, I never got your email. And she said, I just heard, just give me 5 minutes. And I said, okay. And I said, oh, I felt the okay. I felt relief. And then when I looked at my email, her email had bounced back. I've been having weird things with Gmail right now. So every now and then Gmail rejects my email. I don't know why. And only with certain emails. Anyway, she never got the email, but she heard what I said in my mind and saw me sitting there. And she goes, yeah, I just heard, I just need 5 minutes. And I said, that's exactly what I wrote in the email. I just need 5 minutes. Or give me 5 minutes. I just need 5 minutes. And the time to call back. And she said, oh, I had already heard that. So, gang, it's happening. It's happening. How we're going to be living. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And everybody else. I'm thinking of the people after us. Oh, I got a little tickle. Got too excited. Took in some incense. Oh, my God, I have seen things falling off while shooting up. Yes, Lynn, that's perfect. Yes. That's the whole thing. The guides were saying, we're not just ascending. This isn't, it's a meeting. There's a descension process also. And I think that's also, we'll be doing a deeper dive in Patreon on this, the as above is so below. I think we're really going to dive in. Let me know what you guys think. There's a few of you that are in my Patreon in the chat. Maybe a deeper dive into the Hermetic wisdom and philosophy, go into the alchemy. We're still going to work on the soul, the nature of the soul. We're still in that process. But that's as above as below. See, because in truth, just because of gravity, we have the above, right? We always say ascension or extending up out of the mundane world. Some people say going within, but what works better vibrationally and visually, because the way our mindset is with gravity, is to envision going up. But it is both a going up and going out. We're opening up to the higher vibrational frequencies. There's literally being inserted in us, really like a big cup. It's being poured into us. We're meeting it, but we have to shift, especially working on the body right now. Working on the body is so important. Getting those nutrients, healing, being around people and things that make you feel good, like life-enhancing good, life-affirming. Those are two phrases that are really key in the new paradigm. Life-affirming and life-enhancing. Because that is what the higher vibrational expression of life does. It always goes for what's life-affirming and life-enhancing, even if in the beginning or the beginning of a process it doesn't seem to be so. But it is. Okay, going to get to callers. Just want to remind everyone, let everyone know to please, if you haven't already, we're expanding, thanks to Jackie's helping, to YouTube. It looks like maybe February, but it may be more likely March that we kick off and have some podcasts on YouTube, the video casts, and the community there that I'm working to expand. And I'm very open to suggestions. So email me, comment, let me know some ideas that you have for our gatherings, our coming together. And some of it is, some of you know me from way back when I was doing a lot of tech talks and I was on Twitter, and we were really beginning of awakenings. I mean, sometimes we would have in the chat anywhere from, 100 people in there, 100, 150. Yeah, sometimes even more. So just a different time. Everybody knows podcasts now, but this is this podcast was really at the forefront. It was something new. Although there's been people, I'm trying to think of the guy's name right now that did, they call him the godfather of podcasting, Adam Carolla. So I used to watch him on MTV. So it's been around a while, but it really started burgeoning in I would say around 2006, 2007, 2009, the whole MySpace, and of course Facebook took over. Twitter was just happening, and so people were looking for more gathering and panel discussion. We had some great panel discussions. I mean, we had some great people. People would call in, they'd link in from Twitter. And so I'm hoping that that's coming back around. I think it is. I think we can all co-create this. I know people in other areas, other genres of communication and reaching people through media are doing that. So I'm hoping to link up different diverse voices and in different areas, like we do on this podcast. We have a wide range of people that come on. So if that's something that sounds yummy to you, you can always follow me on Instagram. Connect with me on Instagram. It's at Michele Meiche. Subscribe to Soul Insights and Tarot on YouTube, my YouTube channel, and also Awakenings with Michele Meiche podcast. I'm keeping all the names kind of the same since I started with this. That way it's easier to find. And then, of course, always for a deeper dive into spiritualism, spirituality, and metaphysics, you can go to Patreon. That's a great community, especially our meetups. I love our monthly metaphysical salons. The last one was off the hook, off the charts. I was humming for days, you guys, from that sucker. People dropped the truth bombs, insights, awareness. Oh, my God, we had such enlightening conversation. We did some inner work. We did a bit of meditation, and it really, wow, people are doing some deep dives in deep transmutation to connect more with their soul. I love this because now people are talking about the soul. The soul is it's becoming, more and more commonplace, everyday nomenclature. It's in the zeitgeist. It's becoming part of the vernacular, part of the, people are getting it. It's really making its impression. Now, we're just crowning. It's like birth. We haven't totally popped off yet, guys. We haven't had our big grow up and glow up. That's coming. Where all of you listening, all of you doing your inner work have a part to play in this. People are going to look to you. What the heck are you doing? What's the soul? What's going on here? What's happening? And you're going to know. And you're going to lead in your own way, whether it's one-on-one, whether it's with you in your family, with your kids, or at a school, whether it's by what you write or post or your art or how you live, just whatever. It's going to be a glow up. Going to be a glow up. All right, let's get to callers. Enough with me yammering on. Let's get to the first caller here. Hello.
Hi, Michele. This is Donna. How are you?
Doing great. How are you?
Oh, I'm sick with allergy, coughing, and all that. Oh, jeez.
Oh,
terrible.
Gosh. Okay. Oh, maybe that's what I got. I got a little tickle. Oh, I hope you feel better. So, Donna, right? Donna?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, what's your question, Donna?
I wanted to know about my love life. Do you see me ever meeting someone, having that life partner, and yeah.
Okay, let's see. Let's see, Donna. Now, Donna, this is going to sound interesting. Now, do you dance, or did you dance at one point?
No.
Or go dancing or hear music? Never?
Oh, yeah, hearing music and all. Yeah, I like going to places.
Yeah, people.
Okay,
That's you haven't done it in a while, but you need to connect back to that. And I would say dance, move with your body, even in your house. Put on some music that you like. What's going to help? It's very interesting because it's kind of what I've been talking about, the shaking the things up in the body. You know, stuff that we go through, and I'm just kind of coming out of this myself in a certain way, stays lodged in the body, and then our body positioning is that way. It's in our cells, but it also morphs our body. So you need to, as you loosen up more, you loosen up a bit in your mindset and your ideas, and you don't even have to think it totally through. The energy, drumming, moving. So what I get with you is, yes, that will happen, but there needs to be a shift in mindset, and that starts vibrationally for you. Music, even drumming yourself or hearing drums, or just dancing around in your house before you go out, or just dancing for no reason, and let the energy move through you. And then also go out and hear music. I do feel you're going to meet someone through some kind of local, now I don't know if it's a local group and you go with a group, or it is literally you're going to hear this group, or some people invite you, and then you meet a new group of people. And they're very much into, it sounds like live music, some kind of performance. And I don't know if that's all that they do, the people that you're seeing, that you're going to see, but I feel this new group of people are very much into music. Or it could be a group or place that you go where they have music regularly, or they put on performances. You know, it could be an art place where they do, I don't know, singing, dance, theater, and then they happen to have this musical. But for you, the opening to shift your energy, and also the place where you're going to meet more people, like-minded individuals, is through the music. That's what Spirit's telling me. So if you want to get that ball rolling, that's what clears the energy pattern, and that's also the place you're going to meet the person. And you meet first as friends. It's more of a friendship. Yeah. They'll probably take you out to hear music and maybe even dance. Now, whether you want to dance or not, that's up to you, but I do see dancing.
Dance, fast music, yeah.
Okay, then that's what it is. That's what it is, and that's how it unfolds. All right, Donna, keep us posted. Keep us posted.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You have a nice day.
You too. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Hi, you're on air.
Hi, Michelle. This is Jasmine.
Hello, Jasmine. Welcome.
So, for the last few months, I've been getting signs to change my lifestyle to a plant-based vegan lifestyle, and it's starting to feel like I don't really have a choice. So my question is, if you can tune into my higher self and my guides to find out why they want me to live this lifestyle now.
Okay. And how are you getting that message that that's what you're supposed to do?
Well, I was getting sick. I've been seeing a lot of, when I watch television, I would see lots of commercials regarding, like just random commercials about health, like kidney health. And I'm starting to, see ads for like different health books. Videos would pop up about certain interviews regarding health and things like that.
Yeah, I feel that's also sometimes what we have on our mind, we call it in. There's a good example of that when people are going to get, like I was looking for a specific car last year. I saw them everywhere, and I didn't even notice them before. So we call things into our consciousness. That's why, what we focus on gains traction, right? Where energy goes, attention flows, and where our attention goes, energy flows. We call it in. So that could be the message from your very own higher self, body, instinctual awareness saying, this is a part. But I do feel you're calling it in because I'm not really getting anything from the guides, and I'm not getting anything specific about vegan or not vegan. I do feel lifestyle or diet change. And by the way, this is what I've been talking about a lot on Patreon and also, definitely even on my Soul Insights and Tarot YouTube channel, the readings that I do there. Because the next thing, everyone thought, and this is why I'm so glad this new information is coming out, is that there's been a lot of old information and a lot of teachers, even people writing it in books, it's been through the old filtering of we're ascending, we're popping out, into another dimension, we're going to live 5D and above, we won't be on Earth anymore. Well, no, we're meant to be on Earth. So the whole thing is we need to embody all of this, which means bring it to Earth, live it on Earth, these higher and that means in our body. So a lot of people are getting the message to eat differently or different sleep patterns or things to drink. I mean, I don't know if you knew this, and I am going to post, because it's been a while, probably on Rumble. I can't post it anywhere else because there's a lot of controversial information, but a lot of it has already come to be true about the pandemic and all that, the vax and all that. My guides told me when I channeled that information, it was 2017 to 2018 about this was going to be happening, the whole thing about the pandemic and vaccine, everything that happened. So in 2020 they said, Michele, cut back on your sugar or don't have any. And I like my little treats, my little sweets with my tea in the afternoon. And for a while, for months, I didn't have any sugar at all. And I asked why, and they said because the virus likes sugar. And they said also alcohol. Don't have any alcohol. Well, I hadn't for a while anyway, but I didn't have any at all. And when you look at cases, a lot of people that have a lot of sugar or metabolic issues had a lot of trouble, and also people that had a lot of alcohol. Well, not only do those two things, too much white sugar and too much alcohol, because it has sugar in it, lowers your vibrational, not just like vibrational frequency, but it lowers your immune defenses. So again, I think that we're really being reformatted, and it sounds like that's what's happening with you, Jasmine, that this is about you getting into a much more intimate relationship with your body, so the soul can come through more in the body. So now you're doing what's right for you, your body, on a soul level, right? Because the body is an extension of the soul. It's an out picture. So yeah, I definitely feel you're meant to make changes, and you are.
Mm-hmm.
So just listen to the messages that you're getting.
Okay.
And what you may not, what I get, it's going to be a process. It may not be, now I do this and I only eat this way. It's probably going to change a bit so that it becomes uniquely to you what works for you. Okay?
Yeah.
I hope that helps.
Yes. Thank you. It did. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Hi, you're on air.
Hi, Michele. It's Teresa. How are you?
Oops, here we go. Wait, Teresa, is this you?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. Hi. Welcome.
Hi. First, I wanted to say that I thought that the sound session that you had, the healing session Saturday, was so awesome. I think it was the best one that I've attended. And I felt that I really went deeper in this one than I ever have before. And my second thing is, which also has to do with a question that I have, is now I am feeling an energy change. Prior to this, I had felt, I can't say blocked, but I felt maybe neutral is the best word, where I wasn't feeling too much of anything, like I wasn't knowing things, but I wasn't not knowing things. And this little opportunity has come up, which at the time somebody approached me about. It's working a few times a month. And it's kind of something I've been getting out of because I'm looking to transition more into my passion. But I thought that at the time I didn't feel anything really good or bad about it. So I did say yes. And now I'm starting to feel that maybe there's something underneath this that I don't know. I just kind of had this nagging thing that there's maybe either something going on that I don't know or some reason I shouldn't really get involved with it. And this just started happening the past couple of days. And I'm scheduled to go there on Sunday. So.
Well, first of all, and rightly so, because what you experienced on Saturday, it is going to make you feel differently. And so I would say follow through with whatever you're doing and then feel back into it, because you're in process, at least even, I said, like 2 weeks after the session that we did Saturday. I'm not getting, part of it I'm getting with you has to do with you wanting to move on or do something else, and you're not sure that you really want to do this. But there's a part of you that wants to or needs to, right? So I think you're
right.
moving into a space where you
Yeah, see, my dilemma is I like doing things with the heart and connecting people to their heart, and that's what I'm looking more to move into. But I am also trained as a traditional nurse practitioner. So in order to keep up a certification, I do have to keep my hand in it. So I'm kind of still linked to it, even though I'm not, it's not my main interest now. And this little thing would be a way to still stay in it, but still do more and transition more into what I love. And I think that's where my dilemma lies. It's just, I'm just not sure about it, because I'm just kind of getting a bad vibe about something in there, and I just don't know what it is. Are you seeing anything?
No. I think you're looking at things because a part of you wants to be in another place. See, that's part of our dharma, is that we take what we've been trained in or what we've learned and use that. It's also part of the bridging that you're doing right now, from the old to the new. But you being there is affecting vibrational change. Whether you talk about the heart or heart chakra or meditation or not, your consciousness, do you see what I'm saying, is creating a shift vibrationally. Because true shifts happen vibrationally. They don't happen, externally. Like I've said numerous times on this podcast, people that I've met and or worked with that seemed very high vibrational and were actually not. Because and this is part of the next level of awakening, is to get out of this glamour realm where we have, icons, like those are the ones that only have that, the stars, the celebrities, the baseball star, it's all the glamour realm. So that one that has the most followers, they must have the answers, or they have the energy, or they have the secret sauce, or they have, but that's just marketing, you see. So, somebody that just doesn't do anything but could be of higher consciousness, I always think of it sometimes as like the janitor, the maintenance person in the school that's affecting so many people, so many children, because they're highly vibrational and very connected to their heart. So I feel Spirit's yes, it's to keep your licensure going, but also that you're affecting change by being there. And you're still working on yourself, and then also bridging. I feel you're still bridging. You're still trying to figure out how you're going to do what you're going to do, what your voice is, your soul voice. It's not clear yet. You have pieces or parts of it. Yeah. You have pieces or parts to it. So very often what Spirit does is, our own higher self does this as well, puts us in a place where we can do, what we need to do while we're the new way of doing what we're going to do, the new arena, the new way is being fashioned, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, that And you're right. I still am bridging. It's becoming more clear. But yeah, there still are some pieces that how am I actually going to present this? You know, what is really going to be my vehicle, in other words.
Well, see, the thing is what really happens if it's really what we're meant to do, a way is opened. See, but we've been trained to make things happen on the earth plane because we've been very egocentric. It's the human part makes it happen, but that doesn't work in the higher vibrational frequency. This is why you're going to see a lot of people, ideas, modalities go by the wayside because they're not going to have the traction, the soul traction that this opportunity or opening just happened and I was prepared for it. You know, it's like that's kind of that's at that being spirit-led and soul-fueled. So I hope that now when do you start? Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Keep us posted, okay?
Okay.
Let us know how it goes. Yeah, let us know how it goes. Let me know how it goes. And,
yeah, it's only good to see a few times a month, so.
Yeah, that's a good to ground the energy, keep the energy centered, and yeah, let me know how this. You're in that bridging phase, right? You're bridging.
Yes.
All right, Teresa, big hug.
Okay, thank you so much.
Hi, you're on air.
Hi, this is Kate.
Hi, Kate. Hi, welcome.
Thank you.
Hello.
I have been house sitting and pet sitting, and for long-term times, back to back, and I always get an animal in spirit. Usually, they are on my bed. Like as soon as I turn out the lights, and sometimes it's a lot. You know, like my bed is really shaking, and it's not the pet. It's not the. And then I look up thinking it's the pet, and there's nothing there. So just anything about, and it happens at every house I stay at. So I'm attracting that, and what can I do? I don't know, to help them, or just anything of your thoughts about that?
Now, they're coming to you for what now? What is the?
Yeah, that's my question. They come
just
to me
energetically. Are they
still?
Are they? Yeah, but are they still in form, body
No.
form, or no? They've crossed over.
No. Crossed over.
I just feel you're sensitive and just picking up, and there's connecting with you, saying hi, maybe even giving some healing energy.
Okay.
You're going to hear me making my tea now. I'm going to have more of my golden turmeric tea. Yeah, because the thing is, when you're sensitive, you pick up, we pick up a lot, right? And that may be just your thing to connect. Maybe just ask them, hi, or do you have a message for me? I don't feel it's anything that you're meant to do. A lot of times when animal beings come to us, sometimes it's just say hi, or just like regular, or sometimes it's to impart a certain energy. That we're needing, depending on the animal or what they're known for. But yeah, maybe do you feel you're opening up more, Kate?
Yeah, I would like to get more of the message, because I definitely did. Like I do ask, do you have a message? And I
they don't.
Say I have gotten. Can't say I have.
Do you have a feeling
part.
around it? Well, then there's no message. It could be you're just seeing them. You're connecting with them. And I would just feel the feeling. A lot of times also when animal beings come to us, all of them, but especially cats, it has a lot to do with us needing to get more into our body and our instinctual awareness, our body wisdom. Yes, it's about, because animal beings are very energetic. It's the energy of the animal being. They're very... like I said, intuitive, telepathic, but they're very connected to their body. They feel the vibes of people in situations of whether, so, we get a bit heady in this human form, and we don't listen to our instincts, our instinctual awareness, or don't just feel it. Forget about listening. That's another thing, Kate. Now you bring this up, and I'm going to have to share this now because with some of the information that I was getting from the guides, spiritual hierarchy, and we brought into our healing session last Saturday, was just feeling our body. I actually did a post on this today on Instagram called savoring your life, savoring yourself. So just feeling, a cat will turn over and groom themselves, lick themselves. So do dogs. We don't do that. Maybe massage yourself. It's not all just about other people doing to us. Feel something when you're eating something. Really feel it. If you're walking down the road, touch that tree and feel it, or that petal. All of that has consciousness, and all of that brings a level of healing and consciousness to us when we have these kinesthetic, feeling connections to people, and a hug, holding out a hand. I one time worked with this bodybuilder. He's a trainer, and big guy, good-looking guy too. I don't remember his name, but he was gorgeous. And we did a lot of inner child work in the hypnotherapy. And one of the things I gave him, and he didn't want to do it. It was funny. It was just to hug himself daily. And eventually look in the mirror and just hug himself. Do you know? The next time he came into session, he looked lighter. He was still big, because he was a big weight person, trainer. He broke down crying. He said, I love myself and my little kid. He goes, I didn't know how this would affect me. He goes, I really thought you were full of it, and this is like, wacky, stupid stuff to do. The transmission he got from himself, and then he told his girlfriend about it, and both of them were not just hugging themselves, but hugging each other, themselves on a regular basis. It was really, especially to see somebody in a male, very male-looking, stereotypical, burly guy with big muscles, just embracing. And Kate, I feel that for you. I feel for you, it's getting in the body when you walk. Go for a walk and just really get into your instinctual awareness. And I feel that these animal beings are coming to you to impart that because there's going to be some messages that you get through your own body, through your own instinctual awareness. Maybe even healing
and
work.
Dancing, like you told the first person, I do need to
move,
dance,
feel.
Yeah. Because, I also have the clair, I forgot what it's called. I have the smelling clair. And each one of my relatives has a different smell. Like my grandmother is snickerdoodle. I don't know if you remember snickerdoodle cookies.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember those.
So I there are 3 or 4 that have shown me, I know who they are. What someone is popcorn. Like 2 in the morning, I'll smell movie popcorn. So I see that connected to like what you're saying about sensing more and using the whole body.
Yeah, because I'll tell you, I have all the clairs, see things, smell things. I've had channeling sessions where I've smelled cigar, and then I'm like, somebody's coming through that has a cigar on the other side, and they're like, oh my God, that's my Uncle so and so who always smokes cigars. Have the visual. So, again, your gifts may be opening.
Got it.
This may be opening, and your guides are these animal beings saying, don't just focus on the scent or don't just focus on the visual. There's other parts that want to open up.
Great.
All right, Kate. Cool.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm heading to Sedona. I'm taking a road trip to Sedona next week for the first time, so I'm excited to walk there and feel the red rock.
Kate, are you there? I'm still here.
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, it's
that was funny.
Oh, I was getting my tea. So just connect with that and see what comes through, The message may be actually coming through you.
Yeah, I like
but
that.
But you're not, yeah, but so they're just bringing an awareness for you to connect into that part of you. You know, as they do, those little guides of ours, familiars, they're pretty powerful beings, for sure.
Yeah. Sometimes I have to say, like, stop jumping on the bed. I'm trying to sleep, you know. I get it. Let me sleep now.
Well, it could also be someone within you. It could be your familiar, again, that's trying to come through you, the instinctual aspect of your being. So, yeah, this could be pretty amazing. Let us know what unfolds next. This could be pretty interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll keep
okay, cool. Bye. Thanks. Hi, you're on air. Hello. I'll come back to you. Hi, you're on air.
Hi, Michelle. This is Lynn.
Hey, Lynn. Hi. Good to see you and hear you.
You too. I just had to, like Teresa, just share a little bit about how wonderfully amazing the workshop was on Saturday. And I just had a deep connection and experience of my soul as myself. That is just, there really aren't words for it.
Oh, gosh. You could feel it. You could feel you. Wow.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Yes. And that energy, as I was kind of being subsumed into it, you know, it had a different feel to it, a different, you know, vibrational feel, and it had a hue, it had a distinct color. That
you did see the color. Wow.
Yeah. And so that now, as I've gone to meditate, and I just say, you know, like I'm going to connect with my soul, that I know I'm getting different when I sit to meditate, different channels to possibly tune into.
Good. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know exactly how to describe it. Like they have different feelings and vibrations to them.
Yeah.
For certain things, like if I'm going to ask questions to guides, or if I'm just sitting in the, you know, sea of consciousness, or now, okay, connect to my soul. It's, I don't know. It just feels.
No, that makes it, because see, the color is vibration, right? It's a specific vibration, and it's so you're connecting with a certain vibrational aspect of you that is now coming through more, to be lived through, to be, you know, manifested into this dimension. That's why it's dimensional healing. So you were drawing that in. Just like sometimes, you know, when you go through experiences and people say, you know, well, you got it deep within you, you can do it, you know, or somebody's racing, competing, you know, I felt that something deep within me came through. This is what we're doing. It's like that saying, drawing down the moon. We're drawing down the soul, those higher vibrational aspects of us, those dimensional aspects. We're calling down, or literally drawing them down consciously. That is amazing.
It was funny that as you so expertly were leading us through that process, that then when I sort of got locked in and was in it, that the color that it was a particular shade of blue that comes up for me sometimes as signs or things. So it's like, oh, there's my blue.
Oh, yes. Oh, perfect. Oh, my gosh.
So,
okay. Well, now you see why it is that, too.
Yeah,
right?
Now I do. And
why.
Now I have my full body God bumps. And then what was really strange was then when we went to the sound journey part of it, it was so faint I couldn't really hear it. And afterwards, it was like, Teresa, could you hear the sound journey? Yeah, I heard it. But so I
you must have been really.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
you had headsets on, right?
Yes.
Oh,
so
you
I
must
said,
have been really expanded then.
I can't really hear it, but I know I'm just supposed to stay exactly where I am as I am.
Wow. That's pretty. I've had that happen a few times where I lose physical hearing because I'm so dimensionally expanded. So, yeah. That's like near death. And you work with people, that they go through that, It's one of the last things to go, but it does. Wow.
Yeah, the hearing. Yeah. And then I have been getting more in my dreams and lots more visions, and a lot of times I'll have clips of songs that come with them and all sorts of signs. But I swear in the past 3 days or whatever, it's just amplified that much more. It feels like I got a little energetic pop or an energetic boost, like up a step or something. It's tangible. That new feeling or whatever. So I just wanted to share more and just say that, this works. It's very powerful, and that wherever we are in our path, just keep going, because if we keep putting one foot in front of the other, it will all happen for us. I really deeply feel that. And so thank you, Michele, so much for everything.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you. You're welcome, and thank you for all that you bring and your energy and light and insights. It means a lot, and it's so helpful. By the way, I had the other day I think that after this, we did bump up in frequency of calling things in through, other signs or technology. I had something similar with something I was thinking in my head. I was, a little bit of a boo-hooey mood, and exactly what I was thinking came. I don't even know how it happened. I was listening to something else I think I was listening to some of my songs, and you know how your car has the touch screen, and then I touched something, and this certain music was playing, and then I touched something else, and all of a sudden this song came out exactly saying everything I was thinking in my head. I mean, exactly. But then turning it to like the life affirming, like this reaffirming affirmation, and then it talked about faith and trusting your intuition, and I'm like going, wait a minute, is this a real song? Is this a station? I was like freaking out, but I'm driving and I'm just listening going, did I activate what's happening here? And I'm like, it's reverting back to me. And then the next song was like a regular song, kind of upbeat. I don't even know. I think I was originally listening to KCRW. And then I had the thoughts again, and then this other song came in. The first one was by a woman, then the other one came in. Did the same thing. It was a guy singing. And I was like, what the heck? It's like my consciousness stretched out in there, found this song that I cannot even, it was almost like a religious song, like a Christian song. It had all that but it wasn't. It was like it was upbeat. I don't know. I shouldn't even say that. Maybe it was. I don't even know where it came from, how it came on the channel or whatever. So I hear you.
Yeah, lots of magic happening for sure.
Yes.
So just thank you so much, and I appreciate our whole community and the energy of the whole community and you so very much. So thank you.
Thank you. And it's growing and soon to branch out more and bring more pieces to the puzzle. All right, Lynn, big hug. I'll talk to you.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye. Okay, I think we might have our guestie. Let me see. Okay. So if you didn't get your question answered, I'm here. Well, maybe we will through the rest of this podcast. Let's see how everything unfolds. And otherwise, I am here next Wednesday. So we start out the gate at 12. All right, let's see where I think I saw. Where are you? Heidi Hazen. Okay, we talked about her at the top of the program. Hypnotherapist, human design guide, and energy educator. So let's see. Hello, Heidi.
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm excited to be here. I was just catching the last little bit of your last conversation, and boy, I am in the right place.
Oh, yes. Oh, good. Okay, let's do a little mini dive into you, and I definitely want to touch on the human design and also what energy educator, what do you do with that? And I think human design, I mean, it's an interesting time that we're in, and human design has a lot to say about that, or that through looking through that lens. So I think it might be interesting to get your take through human design of what's going on, because I think I like using all kinds of tools, lenses, just like good photographers have many lenses. You know, I think it can be really helpful, right? But anyway, if you just tell us a little bit, kind of how you got on. I always like to go, since this is awakenings, we have so many awakenings. So, like, what was the first awakening, and then what awakened you? What happened to get you on this particular path that you're on now?
You know, one of my favorite awakenings is midlife. I think it is the most profound. You know, we have this, like, midlife crisis, and really a midlife crisis is a midlife awakening that people are not ready for. And so they turn into, you know, kind of the distracting and the cars and the, you know, divorce or the cheating or all of these things. But my profound awakening happened in midlife. And it was probably 5 or 6 years ago where I was in a marriage for 10 years. I was co-owner of a world famous bookstore in Los Angeles with my ex-husband, or my husband at the time. I had 2 small children.
And can you say what the bookstore is?
The Last Bookstore, downtown Los Angeles.
Oh, The Last.
So
my gosh, that one? Oh, yeah. That was a great bookstore. Oh my God.
It's still there. It's still great.
Still there,
and now there are two more locations have been added since I've been gone. So really, from the outside, things look really beautiful. You know, married, 2 young children, conceived through IVF, on this beautiful growing bookstore, and more on the way. And I was sort of white knuckling life. You know, I was like, I have to keep going. And I was dying. I mean, I remember talking to a therapist that I had worked with as a single woman in my 20s. I worked again with her in premarital counseling with my husband before we got married. So she really knew me. And I reached out to her, 10 years into my marriage, and she just listened to what I had to say. And she said, Heidi, you have lost hope in your life. And that for me was the awakening. The awakening was, boy, I just did not care if I crashed my car. And I had 2 beautiful, extraordinary children that I had done a lot to bring through, in doing in vitro. And I was dying. And it took a physical manifestation of my white knuckling to really wake me up. And that was, I was diagnosed, I was halfway to adrenal failure. So I was just shy of being hospitalized because I was just running my body ragged. And my former husband, who I still love him, and we co-parent, and I adore his new wife. He is a paraplegic and had been for the entire time that we were together. Wow. So I was also the only able-bodied, adult and parent in the family. And I was the only one who could move boxes of books. So I spent 10 years while I was married and having children and being the only able-bodied, adult in the home, moving boxes of books, in like hundreds of thousands of books in boxes, because I was the only one who could get it in the car, get it over here, move it over here, build a bookstore, do all of these things. And I had the blinders on, because we manifest out of our subconscious programming that is programmed in when we're children. So my sort of core beliefs from childhood were centered around that I did not feel worthy, and I felt like a burden. So I was very careful not to ask for too much, because the people around me, my parents and step-parents and those people, they didn't have what it took to give to me what I needed, whether it was $5 or a new pair of shoes for track or, you know, emotional support or whatever. So I learned to not ask for anything and to overcompensate by doing. So I was in this, you know, I kind of chose out of my subconscious programming this person, this partner who was going to keep me safe in my subconscious programming. So I knew I was never going to need more than he was going to need. And so I was like, oh, subconsciously, you know, my inner child was like, perfect. You're always going to know your place and you're never going to be a bigger burden. And you're just going to be able to do and earn your place and earn your love. And so I did that, and I did that for 10 years. And I finally got to the point where I paused. We had just opened. I had just physically built out a new bookstore in the town that I live in now with a friend and a couple of family members. And I was working 16-hour days for weeks and weeks and weeks and had these kids at home and all the things. And we opened the doors to that new store, and I paused long enough to realize that I felt like I was dying. And I immediately went in to see my doctor, and she did a couple of real rudimentary tests while she was ordering, you know, a big panel of different things. And she said, oh my gosh, something is very, very wrong. And the test came back, and it was like, you're halfway to adrenal failure, and your nervous system is completely out of whack, and your immune system doesn't even know what to do. Like, you are wiped out. She was like, if I could send you away, I would send you away. So at this point in my life, I had been ignoring the fact that my intuition had been telling me since probably 18 months into my marriage that it wasn't where I was going to thrive, and it wasn't where I was meant to be. And I just, you know, I was deep into religion at the time, and I had the blinders on, and I had the earmuffs on, like it was la 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 la, like I will not listen to my intuition. And it finally just had to, you know, kind of use as crowbars, like these signs or these people, or you read a book or you hear somebody talk about, you know, Liz Gilbert or Glennon Melton or Glennon Doyle, talking about, oh my gosh, this was my rock bottom. This was crying on the bathroom floor. And it takes that for us to awaken sometimes, because we ignore the signs along the way. We white knuckle, like, nope, I got to see this through. I made a commitment and I got to see this through. And then finally it was like, no. And so I took a year of doing really deep inner work before I said anything about ending my marriage. So that for me was my awakening. And so I did end my marriage with a ton of grace and love, because I had taken full responsibility on my end within myself. I was not pointing blame. I was like, here's why I've chosen this. I get it now. I can see why I chose this. I can see why this doesn't work. I can see that no one is happy. No one is thriving. I can see, and I was willing to take full responsibility for ending our marriage. And then I stayed working. We had a beautiful sort of co-parenting, you know, relationship from the time we separated and through our amicable divorce. And then I stayed working with the bookstore. I stayed, you know, as part of that. That was my career, was being part of the last bookstore. And I stayed. And because it was amicable and, you know, whatever. And then it was, again, here was this bright shining light just outside, like in my peripheral vision, that was like, ooh, there's something else. And that something else happened to be human design. And so I leaned into human design. I trained and became a reader and found that I just kind of got it very, very quickly. It was not something that I really had to, you know, I was like, I just get it. I just get it. And what I love about human design is that it is a modality, that a tool that you can use that doesn't have you answering questions from your conscious mind, because and not to throw shade, but the other tools we have, like Myers-Briggs or the Enneagram or, you know, Strengths Finders or anything we're answering through questions that we're ticking boxes, you know, the answer is going to resonate because you've chosen the answer.
Know it.
And
exactly.
You know it, exactly. And your subconscious is directing what you choose consciously. So, for example, 10 years ago when I discovered the Enneagram, I was a 6, and I really planted my flag in being a 6, and it's all about security and safety and whatever. And I was like, oh, I'm going to wear that as a badge because that resonates so deeply. That is absolutely what I'm living for. And then I went through my awakening period, and I revisited my Enneagram about 5 years ago, and I was a 2. And I took it on multiple platforms because I was like, well, this test is, and I was like, what's happening here? And just last week, I took it again, and I'm now an 8. And I thought, okay, here's what's happening. As I'm healing in the deepest ways, at the deepest level, which is within the subconscious, it's changing everything consciously. And so now I use the Enneagram or, Myers-Briggs or some of these other things as tools for the now. This is the season that I'm in right now. I am in an 8 season where I am harnessed to my purpose, my soul's purpose. And I'm like, let's go. Like, let's rocket ship with this. But human design is, it's already there. So it's, your birth date, time, and place. And it just spits out this beautiful system that is the science of, the science or the system of your energetic body. And it's what your soul has chosen to drop into. It's the engine under the hood. So, your physical body is like the frame and the seats and the steering wheel of your vehicle. And your human design, your energy is sort of like what's under the hood. What kind of engine are we working with here? Is it a hybrid? Is it, a monster truck engine? Is it a vintage Volvo? Like, what are we working with here? And how are we meant to navigate from here to there? And it feels so accurate. When I do readings for people, they tend to just, it's like aha moment after aha moment, and it feels very permissive. So you have permission, and you've already known. Now you get to lean harder into it because it is right for you. When they've been deconditioned a little bit, out of their natural way through society or, our childhoods or whatever. But we are in a place right now with human design. We have a big shift coming. We have multiple big shifts coming. One in 2027, where the human design, we shift out of what we have been in for I don't even know how many hundreds of years into something that's very, very different. We're even getting new energy centers in the palms of our hands, going, not us, but those who are born after this transition. So we are tapping into more energy. We are becoming more masterful of our energy if we become aware of it. And then we have a big global shift happening in 2032, which is the beginning of the new golden, the new golden age, the new golden era. And so we are being prepared for something that is radically different from anything that anyone alive at this moment has ever been part of. So it's a beautiful time to, like you said, Michelle, like lean into the tools. Like, oh, let's look at it through this. Let's look at it through this. Well, how can this be additive? How can I apply something that's in this modality to where I'm at right now to continue to prepare? Because it's going to happen so quickly. Time is moving very, very fast. Like, and for those of us who are sort of like, okay, I'm a flag holder. Like I'm putting the flag here, and I've got to stay here, and I'm steadying and anchoring the energy of what is coming. Because a lot of people are kind of floaty, they're kind of like a leaf in the wind because they're not tapped into, the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, even their third dimension. People are just kind of floundering. And so I think leaning into the tools are really beautiful because they just give us more access to awareness. So that's sort of my awakening, and human design led me then. I knew that human design wasn't going to be a soapbox for me. I knew that I just intuitively, naturally got it and wanted to share that with other people. But again, another light shone in my peripheral vision, and it was like a freaking lighthouse. And I knew I had to go further, and that led me to transformative hypnotherapy, which was it's the most profound thing that I've ever discovered in 25 years of healing, leaning into healing modalities. And so I became a master hypnotist, and now I work in spiritual, energetic hypnotherapy. And the energy education piece is really about, I try to make it really accessible so that, because everybody understands emotions, like that you have an emotion, or that emotions are things and whatever. So I really teach people how to understand what emotions are, how to understand how they anchor in your body, how to clear out where you've stored negative emotional energy in your blind spots, and they're all held within your subconscious. And then you come into a place of sacred agency over your emotional energy, where you understand what a trigger is and how to fix it, where you understand how to shift your emotional energy at will instead of being at the mercy of what this person said to you, or this person cut you off and now you're having a triggered response. So really that energy education starts at the base level and then it moves up from there. But I really want to make energy, it's like, here's kindergarten. It's like, we're going to talk about emotions. We're going to talk about what that is and what that means and how does that feel to you, and is that what you want to feel, and how do you move it? How do you release it? And make it really, really accessible and, easy to work with. So that's what I do now. I do all three of those things, and it's my purpose. My purpose is to help you with the tools that I have to reconnect to your soul, and to live in harmony with your soul, alchemizing the human experience that you have had in your past. Because if you can stand in the present moment and have no resistance to looking at your past, so many of us are, again, white-knuckling, and we're headed in this direction, and we're trying to get away from our past, whether it was last week or last year or, 40 years ago. We don't want to go back. It's like, oh, been there, done that, I let it go. But if we have the willingness to pause and turn around and look at where we've come from and look at the beliefs and the misperceptions and the wounds, when we alchemize those things into what they were meant for, which is for our soul's evolution, then we become a free agent. We become.
I got to tell you, Heidi, that such a synchronicity, because I've been talking a lot about the pause, and I actually did a post yesterday for my Patreon because I was pausing a lot yesterday because I was going through a lot energetically, and then today I did a post on Instagram about the pause, because so much can happen in that pause, and then you spoke of it. You made that decision. You really paused. I think it's so underrated. I think we're kind of conditioned that these big decisions that we need to lament, and again, as someone put in the chat, what is his name? B.S. Pence. I'm not saying it, but the difference between the thinking with the brain and thinking with the mind, or the thinking part of us gets us only so far, but it is in that pause that higher insight or more expanded understanding can come in, and we have to pause. That's the whole thing. And it's so interesting because it doesn't take a long time, and especially if you get more used to pausing, it's moments of pauses. If we get used to it and we do it more frequently, then that aspect of us we can tap into is readily, there. And right? We don't have to lament. Okay, one thing I want to dive into a bit with you is, by the way, I agree with the Enneagram. I loved it. I studied it. I used to use, and Myers-Briggs, because I've done some corporate work, and they always use the Myers-Briggs. Mine tends to, INFJ? Mine tends to stay. But that damn Enneagram, I would do it, and one time it would be this, or I'd go to practice. Oh, you're this, this, and this, and oh yes, that's me. And then somebody else would say I'm something else, right? Or then I would research, do the test, and look and go, I am that, but I'm also this, or maybe I'm two of them, or three of them. I mean, I was like, what the heck? I don't know. That would, and it's fascinating. It's a fascinating study. So I don't know. Maybe it is like you said, because as you shift, these are like just aspects. It's not the totality. It could be just what you're focused on, or before you do a certain type of healing or deeper healing. That's you get one number. One of the things I want to ask you about. I've had my human design done, and manifesting generator, and which so corresponded with my Western. I don't know about sidereal because I've only done a little bit of that, but the Western chart with because my Mars is in the 12th house. I really have to wait. I have to be invited. I have to feel something that this is it. And when I've tried to, like you said earlier, in our conversation, try to push or make things happen, which we're all taught. You got to make it happen. You got to do that. You got to do that. Always horrible. Sometimes just blocks or not good experiences to really horrible experiences. So when I found out, when I had my chart done, and it was all about the feeling and taking it in and then responding, I was like, oh my God, confirmation. But my question, just want to say, it was a major confirmation. Actually, the design, and then I also studied the I Ching for 20 some odd years, so I love the correspondence. But I'm very curious about, someone had said, I don't know if I read it somewhere, it could have been a previous guest, about this that we're in this 59, this dissolving that's happening. So I don't know if it's past 59. If you could talk a little bit from the human design perspective, what you see as where we're at collectively, if there's certain pathways that are more, emphasized right now. Is there something by what you see that we should be, or it would be good for us or life affirming for us to be tapping into for deeper understanding?
I think that we are seeing especially here in the United States, but just kind of globally, we are seeing the dissolve of what has been built, the infrastructures in, healthcare and education and government and, even households. Like, we are seeing the disillusion of things that we needed to put in place over the past, all of the revolutions, the industrial, the technological, all of the things that we had to build up in order to create what was going to bring us out of living, nomadically or whatever. Like, we were coming into communities and we were building, we needed to have infrastructure, and that is now crumbling. And we're seeing it happen in all of these different areas. And it's because we are shifting from a left arrow, like a very logical, linear, controlling, white knuckling, going forward. We're doing this for everybody, and one size fits all. Like, we're doing this, and all of those things are coming down because we are doing this shift in the next couple of years into being like a right arrow facing, which is very much about the individual. It's very much about going with the flow. It's like autonomy. Once again, coming back to that word, it's like we have to, when we dial it down to the individual, it is going to be very much a shift for us who are living right now to go from, wow, everything has been so boxy and linear and logical, to, wow, what does this feel like? I'm going to do what feels best for me. And, parents are going to start holding space for their children in the education realm, in health, and medicine and whatever, holding what actually works for my child or what actually works for me. And we're going to come back into a place where we're going to rely or be able to have more autonomy in alignment with our own authenticity. So, radical sovereignty, like the things that people are sort of like, whoa, like we're losing our freedoms in these areas and whatever. And what if that doesn't work for me? We're starting to wake up a little bit, have that awakening of, okay, you know what? What's good for the goose isn't always good for the gander. So when it's really like when we dial it back and we're not looking at, the United States and what's happening with government or healthcare or education, school systems, or who even knows what, we are. And we're in this downturn right now of, potential recession or whatever we're going to call it. It really is a time of kind of coming within and beginning to identify what actually does feel good to me. What do I want to be doing in work, in my relationship with, how I show up in my community, in society? It's like we're gonna be much more individual in these next, from here on out, really, until we're gone. It's, until we transition, we're going to be in a much more individual like space. where we have been, as long as all of us have been alive, we've been in a very, it's for the greater good. We got to put these boxes around it. It's going to look like this. And it's like, oh, boy, that does not feel good. And like you as a manifesting generator, the traditional school system for a manifesting generator, both of my children are manifesting generators, and I'm a projector. So that in itself is like a whole crazy, like living in a blender. But the traditional school system for someone like a manifesting generator who gets things really quickly and gets to jump, it's not A, B, C, D, E, it's A, X, P, Q, R, 9, a star. It's like you get it so quickly. And the traditional school system wants you to sit in a chair and learn at the pace of the slowest learner in the classroom. And so things are shifting because as people are starting to understand who they are, take ownership of who they are, set boundaries around who they are and what it is they want to do, give themselves permission to pivot. As a manifesting generator, you're going to be in love with many different things in your life, many different careers, many different, tools and hobbies and all kinds of things. And the more that you return to your worth and doing things the way that feel good to you, the better off you're going to be. So for right now, and this is part of, what I do. Like, this is part of why I do what I do and why it happened so quickly for me that I transitioned from where I was white-knuckling in the wrong realm into my soul's purpose, is to really prepare people by alchemizing the things that stand in between their conscious, human experience and their present life and their soul and their soul's infinite worth. When we can bridge those two things and understand who we are and live in that alignment, things are much easier. I just had a situation happen at a restaurant the other day where I was up at the counter and they kind of had a funny system where you paid and then they told you, like, oh, we've got these two seats, these two tables you can sit at. Do you want this one right here by the door or do you want this one by the window? And I said, oh, I'll take the one by the window. And I went to walk to the table and another person who worked at the restaurant said, oh, excuse me, you're going to sit at this table over here by the door. And I said, oh, no, I'm sitting at the table by the window. I chose the table by the window. And she said, I know you did, but we're going to seat you at the table by the door. And without thinking about it, I said, I don't want to. I'm sitting by the window. And I wasn't trying to be mean or a jerk about it, but I have come so much more at home within myself and my worth. And this is a silly example, but what struck me was the fluidity. That I didn't stop to pause to be like, well, how come and whatever. The honest answer was, I'm going to go sit over here because that's where my soul and my energy indicated I need to go and be. And that's where I think that we need to be.
Chose.
And not that we're going to. It is. It's what I chose, and I chose. Yeah, and it wasn't even. It was just a silly thing, but that's where I want people to be, is in the space of knowing what is correct for you. And when you have all of your aha moments and your confirmation in your human design reading, that gives you permission to be like, oh yeah, no, that's because of this. That's because I'm a manifesting generator. That's because of this thing over here. And not that we need to.
And by the way, Heidi, I don't think it's so silly. I don't like sitting by the door. I mean, to me, when I go to a restaurant or anywhere really, but especially a restaurant where you're paying, it's for not just the food, the experience. And you go to a place to have a certain experience, and I think we're kind of learning that on the earth plane. You're coming here for a certain experience. You do get to call that in beyond the conditioning. One thing that you said, and I think is so important, and definitely doing deep subconscious work, you get to the layers that the soul. It's the, how do I want to say? It's the form that things take. The soul coming in, is perfect, whole, perfect, and complete. It's just. What it's coming in. I always say to people, it's like water. If I put water in a cracked mug or cracked glass, there's going to be a certain experience, a certain result. Or if I have water and I put it in a blue mug, or I put, food coloring that's blue, it's going to have that shade and that filtering. If I put red, it's going to have that. And so I think people are starting to get, or maybe even in this conversation, people can start getting that it's just the programming, the conditioned response patterns, those are the things that need to get, and are getting removed, the mental constructs, changing those into more of the truth. I mean, in a sense, too, the whole Earth game is changing, right? The whole Earth game is changing. There's a big change within the Earth.
It's funny that you use the water and food coloring. It's the exact illustration that I use when I'm teaching, because when we think about, being a glass of water, and if your experiences through your life have been really hard, maybe you had parents who were alcoholics or really rage-filled, and what you received was, let's say that anger is red, and you received a lot of red because you mirror what is happening around you. Well, energetically, you are storing those emotions. So if we drop a whole bunch of red in, then you have a red thing, And if you got a little bit of joy, and let's say that's yellow, we drop in a little bit of joy. Well, that changes that red, so it's not vibrant, and it makes it a little more like, I don't know, orange or whatever. But then let's say you move beyond that, and you live for 10 years, and you're so happy, and you have all these things. Then you've got all this green that comes in, and this pink that comes in. Well, it's all within you. It's like a palette, It's like it kind of all turns kind of muddy. When we go in and identify the misconceptions and the mistruths and the things that were shown to us that we believed were true about us, and we alchemize those into the truth, and we process the emotion that we've carried with us, kind of like the long bag that we carry behind us that is our shadow. If we alchemize that, then we turn all those red drops, we turn them back into water. And then you have a much different colored palette or glass of water, because we have removed all of this. Yes. Yeah.
Right. It's clear, and now you can consciously choose. Yes. Now you can consciously
Michele,
choose.
exactly. That's
right?
it.
It's the reactivity.
That's it.
That's the key. It's the reactivity that and again, the pause. I just find it so confirming that you mentioned that. I had something the other day, and I thought, I've talked to this person about this. I've worked through this, and then I thought, just walk and pause, and the right words will be there. I think if everyone could just learn to do a pause, we're going to be a whole lot better, Heidi. Right? If everyone could
let's just pause. Let's
right?
pause.
Yeah, I mean, just think about the voice notes, voice messages, text messages, the things that you can't take. That post you can't take back, even if you delete it. Right? If people would just pause, and it doesn't take very long.
No.
It's such a consciousness shift. I paused and I thought, I thought of what I wanted to say, and then I let it go, and I said, okay, we'll see where the right words come out. And they did, and it actually ended up being really perfect and uplifting. But I had to pause. Otherwise, I was, full guns a-blazing.
Yes, and the guns are blazing, and we're on the horse, and we're going. That's all human. That's all the human, and that's all the programming that is the fuel.
Yeah.
And in the pause, we have the moment. We have that moment to actually check in. And I teach how to shift upward into the perspective and the perception of your highest soul self. So when you pause, you can actually take that, and it has to be conscious. You have to choose it, but you can pause, and then you can say, you know what? How would my soul, my perfect, beautiful, lovely, worthy soul, see this, view this, and process this? Like, how would it navigate through this? And there is that divide between the 3D reality and our, our infinite soul reality.
Yeah.
And that's what I teach.
Well, and if you pause
whatever,
enough
with
that consciousness, if you pause enough with that, you do get the higher self. It comes through. You don't get the human conditioning, the condition. It means this and this, that. And I also find in the pause you realize always that it's not about you. It's something that person or that situation is going through or whatever, even like in your case in the restaurant. people get triggered and they act certain ways. It's just very interesting to watch, but you can only do that in the pause. It's very hard to observe, being the detached observer, the witness, and allow the higher self if we, are in fifth gear. We don't put it in neutral, so to speak. Heidi, this has been great. Let me see if there's any questions in the chat. Have an awesome week, everyone. Thanks, Heidi and Michelle. Yes. Cut off. Okay, cool. All right. I hope people are hearing you. Are you still hearing me in the chat? Let me know. Heidi, let us know how to reach you, how people can reach you, and it's been a great conversation. Thanks for coming on the program. Loved having you on the podcast.
Seriously, loved being here. What an uplifting conversation. Everyone can find me. I'm super easy to find. My website is just my name, www.heidihazen.com, and I'm also at Heidi Hazen on Instagram, and that's where I do all my stuff. That's where I put all my soul's work into the 3D.
Perfect. Okay. It's always in the description box, but I know a lot of people listen on the go, so scrolling and all that, so it's just easier. All right, Heidi, we'll come back anytime, and it was really great to talk with you. Thanks.
Thanks, Michelle.
Oh, beautiful. Jay, next time, let me know. Jay, in the chat, let me know or email me. Michele at soulplayground.life, Michele at soulplayground.life. Au revoir and peace. Beautiful. Guys, this was great. Thank you, all of you that called in. If you didn't get your question answered or you wanted a reading, come back next week. Be here at 12 p.m. Pacific time, and we will dive into it. As always, I appreciate all of you that are co-creating this with me. And as always, you can connect with me. Let's go through it. Patreon, deeper dive into metaphysics, spiritualism, and spirituality, Soul Insights and Tarot, and also on Instagram. Soul Insights and Tarot is on YouTube. And please subscribe. We're trying to get people to also move over to YouTube, Awakenings with Michele Meiche on YouTube, the podcast there, because we will be starting to have live podcasts, probably bring in some of our favorite guests. So if you have topic suggestions or guest suggestions, or you heard someone on the audio podcast and you're like, I'd like to see them again, email me at awakeningspodcast@gmail.com, and the producer will, forward it to me. And, I love getting guest and topic suggestions. Most of our guests, I'd say 98%, come from, publicists, PR firms, the book people, whatever. Or they listen to the podcast and then they, write in. And then there's a small percentage when I'm perusing around, you never know, and I hear something or have an interest, I will send it to the producer and say, hey, can you get this person, invite this person to come on. So it's our podcast, it's our community, so you let me know what works for you and what is of interest to you and what supports you also. Again, thank everyone that called in. You really made this a great time. And as always, yes, let's see, could someone purchase the replay? Yes, Lynn. We're actually going to do, doesn't matter, they can get the replay. I am going to set something up and edit so that, thank you for reminding me. Lynn, you always do that. Linny in the chat, thank you. You always do that. You get what I need to do. I was going to re-edit for a replay that people can purchase. And Spirit went through you to remind me, my higher self to remind me. So I will do that, Lynn, and then email you. Or if they want it right now, But that's and I'm going to do some more things that people can do, the replays, especially with the affirmations that came through and the tone. Oh, by the way, Lynn, everybody in the chat, whoever is listening, and you guys did the workshop and this healing session, Grace said that I did some codes that came in. Oh my God, what time was it? It was like, I'm trying to look through the 40 minutes in, maybe something. 49 minutes. Let me see if I can find it. I wanted to listen to too because I don't remember. You know, I had notes because this is something new that the guides had given me to do. So I had specific things to do and cover, and also these energetic, mudras. But I didn't know about what else came through. What did she see? Let's see. Dimensional Soul Source Healing. Let's see where it is and if I can give you guys. Because they increased the volume. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to have to ask her again where it came through. But she's like, did you see that or hear that was coming through? You were doing these codes. And I was like, oh, my God, the codes came in. Because afterwards, then the guys were like, oh, we want you to do the codes. We want you to give them the last code. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. If I find it, Lynn, in the chat, I will give it to you. All right. I would love to know to see if it aligned with some of the things that struck me. Oh, that might be interesting, Lynn. Maybe it did. Lenny, we're full on talking here. Okay. Yeah, we're going to do more key codes. There's one other key code and then work in the other two because the key codes connect into the body specifically. So it's all about the vibration, not just so much of what we hear, or but the vibration, any way that we can connect into the vibration. All right, guys, love you all. I just can't hang up, I guess. I can't end the podcast. As always, continue to shine your light, share your insights, and, of course, keep awake. I'm getting woke and staying woke.
Awakenings broadcasts every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Pacific Time. Archive shows available on iTunes. For continued awakened conversations and insights, join the Awakenings group on Facebook. And check out Michelle's blog at soulplayground.com. And keep awake.